Welcome to the Magic Divorce Club podcast. This is your space to successfully navigate your divorce with confidence and create a roadmap to the life of your dreams. I'm your host, Hannah Harvey. I'm the author of How to Divorce Sober, and I have helped thousands of women to process the trauma of divorce and step into an exciting future. Please like and subscribe because this really helps my little podcast to grow. And if you would like more from me, you can subscribe at magicdivorceclub.substack.com for a host of other support tools. Hello and welcome to the Magic Divorce Club podcast. It's me, Hannah, and today I want to talk about the difference between processing what you've been through and re-traumatizing yourself. So I guess what I'm looking at here, and I'm kind of exploring it with you because I'm interested to know what you think as well. But like at one point, does telling our stories stop helping us and start hurting us? And it's a real balance, and I'd be really interested to hear what you think. So the reason I'm even thinking about any of this is some of you may remember that I did a little podcast about Lily Allen and her album West End Girl when it first came out last year, because I was like, holy shit, this is a lot for people like you and me who have been through relationship breakdowns, and many of the women who get in touch with me are like, this is my story. Like the cheating, the secrecy, the shame, the blindsidedness, the agreements that you get to because you're just trying to keep your family together. Like there's no two ways around it. It's like she's written a West End musical of the end of your relationship. And it took me a little while to recover, if I'm honest. And then my gorgeous friend Claire bought me tickets for us to go see her because she had a very similar, like, full body experience from listening to the album. And we were like, let's go. It's going to be cleansing. It's going to be incredible to see her live. You know, we're going to do that. Sadly, Claire didn't end up being able to make it, but my other lovely friend Jo came with me. And yeah, on the day I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I know it's going to be really re-triggering. I knew I was going to go all in and fully experience it all again. And oh my God, it did not. Like, it was incredible. She was amazing. The set design was amazing. Her outfits. It was a one-woman show of grief and shame and secrecy and the end of an important relationship where hearts got broken. And even down to like the song that always makes me cry is the If I Relapse. That song always gets me because it's even down to the fact that she is now sober, and you know my book's called How to Divorce Sober. Like, all of it is so close to the bone. You know, I admire what she has done so much. Like, being able to create such an amazing experience. Like, you're not just watching somebody on stage, you are like in her bedroom with her when she's finding the butt plug and the dildos and the fucking sex toys and all of that stuff, the receipts. You're in it with her, and it has taken so much courage and dedication to creating this to the truth of the story, that you can't help but be touched by it. And there's this kind of stuff going on. I'm seeing it in my Instagram. I don't know about you, about people complaining that it was only an hour and she didn't speak to anyone and that kind of stuff. And it's like, whatever. It's not meant to be like that. Do you speak to, like, I don't know, Starlight Express when they're whizzing around on the stage? To me, it was just utter perfection, and any longer, and we were all just going to be walking out in pieces. So it's just right. And the other thing you have to bear in mind with it is that it doesn't stay with you for 1 hour. You bring that home. You probably, if you're like me, re-listen to it several times the next day so you can remember everything again. And then for me, the songs were then stuck in my head on, it's almost like in order, because obviously it's a story, for the next 2 weeks. And with each song, it's like what it brings up in me, the memories that bring up in me, the old emotions returning into parts of my bodies that I'd forgotten about. So as you're watching someone like this present their story so honestly, it cannot help to stir up your own story. And so this is where I come from with this stuff, where I'm like, I got to a point where I knew I needed to stop listening to the album because it had kind of worked its way through and I was ready to say, okay. In fact, actually, I've probably got to a point now where I can listen to the songs without finding them triggering. And I kind of want to touch on this tension between two bits of advice you might get when you're going through something like this. So on the one hand, it's like, you know, let's just move on, brush it under the carpet, pretend it didn't happen, not deal with any of the emotions that brought about the end of your relationship, whatever it was. And obviously that's not good advice, terrible advice. We know this, like we know we're not going to do this. It's not comfortable. The first time I signed up for therapy, I was like, fuck, what have I done? This is terrible. What am I going to find? What happens if I go in and I can't come out again? What if I discover something so awful about myself that obviously I know is true, but I don't want anybody else to know is true, and then it confirms that I am a waste of space. So moving on can seem like a really quite appealing thing to do when you're in the middle of all this. The other thing, you know, we can go to the other extreme where we just talk about it constantly and we don't do anything else. And obviously that's not always helpful either if there is an integration happening at the same time. So it's one thing to sit with your therapist and to go into minute detail, which is, you know, one of the things I had to do in order to recover from PTSD was we went into, it was the first, the worst and the last. So looking at each of the 3 key events that caused me to have such, you know, reactions to certain things and panic attacks and all that kind of stuff. You know, doing it in that kind of setting with the right person where you are being held is one thing. And he would say to me afterwards, like, keep writing this stuff down. You're a writer, write it down. And a lot of it I would kind of speak as well, like I would voice note. And it's so important. Like, I think there's 2 sides to this. The first thing is that it's so important for you to see your own story with truth and through someone else's professional eyes, looking at it too and going, can you see that that was not your fault? Or can you see how that would have been traumatizing? So there's that. And then the other side of talking about it and really going there is that we can make such incredible things when we do, like Lily Allen's album. But we can also whistle blow some bullshit. You know, the fact that Lily Allen has got on a stage and said this behaviour is completely unacceptable and it almost broke me in two, means that so many women around the world who are living in the same situation will go, oh, so I don't have to do this. Like, this isn't okay. They will see themselves, even if it's not the same scenario, it could be drug taking, it could be some other addiction that is having a horrible impact on their married life. They get to see it too and realise that actually maybe there's another option and they don't have to stay. So there is power in sharing unacceptable behaviour. And it sets you, like my therapist would always say, the truth will set you free. And it does. It sets you free. The things that we're most ashamed of are the stuff we need to shine a light on and talk about. Because it's not just you. Like, I talk about this stuff in my book and I was very anxious about sharing it. But as I did, the more and more I did, the more I was able to connect with other people who were like, shit, I thought that was just me. And back in the day, this is who I'm writing for a lot of the time. I'm writing for me back in the day, having a panic attack in my toilet because I'm so anxious about the future and I don't know how to get out. So it is important. But it's like, to what extent? So I feel like this is tricky because I'm probably in some ways still re-traumatizing myself at times with the stuff that I'm so honestly talking to you guys about. But it's almost like every time I do it, it eases the pain a little bit more. So I'm kind of talking myself out of the point I was going to make here, which is I had to stop listening to Lily because I was like, I'm just re-traumatizing myself here. But actually, the more I've listened to it, the more I can kind of just sing along now. And the more I talk about my story, the less pain, the less I feel it as pain in my body. Does that make sense? So there's the odd story that if I tell it, I cannot not cry. And I don't like to share them too much, not because I don't want to not cry. You know me, I'll have a cry, that's no problem. But I don't want to traumatize you with stuff that might not have even registered for you, you know? Like, I don't want to tell you the story that upset me. It's not even about me, but that I can't tell without crying because I don't want to then put that on you. But maybe that's, you know, it's up to you whether you hear it or not. And if we ever speak face to face, you can ask me what the story is and I will tell you and I will cry. And maybe you'll cry too and you'll relate. And then we'll both have released something that was trapped in the body. Because that's what I believe. Every time you cry, you're releasing something that was trapped in your body. So it's important to make time, to make space to cry. And when I wrote my book, yes, it was hard. Yes, it brought stuff up. And there were times when I was like, I can't publish this. This is not going to go well for me if I do. But, you know, I just edited it a little bit until I did feel comfortable. And I was like, yeah, this is the one that's going to go. And it eventually felt really freeing. Not just stirring things up, but being able to go, this is my story. This is what I wish someone had put in my hand. Maybe, I don't know, a year before the end of my relationship. And said, read this, babes. It's not just you. You are not the only person in the world who's trapped. Feeling trapped and unsure and don't know how to move through this. And I would say it's not just trapped by my ex-partner, but also by my own expectations of what life is meant to look like. trapped by society's idea or the way we get trained that our lives are meant to look a certain way. Like, that is as much as a trap as anything else. Our own expectations for what our lives are meant to look like and how we're meant to behave. So, I don't know, tell me what you think. I would love to hear if you would like to share your story with me. When I first published the podcast about the Lily Allen album, my friend had said, why don't you ask people to anonymously send in their stories and share them? And at first I was like, no, we'll all be getting re-traumatized all the time. But now the more I think of it, the more I'm like, fuck yeah, let's share these stories. Like, there'll be some stuff that you have lived through that are unacceptable. And I would love to give a platform to these stories. Whether you want to share them in your name or share them anonymously, I would be honoured to receive them. Like, back in the day, I used to have a blog called Mum's Days, and I shared hundreds of birth stories. It was so cool. Like, people would just send in all of these wild things that happened to them when they were giving birth. And they were so beautiful, and people loved reading them. And I had like this big, vibrant community on Facebook. And every time a birth story came out, there'd be like loads of people going, "Oh my god!" Because sometimes crazy shit happens during birth, and sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it's like quick and easy and beautiful, and other times it's traumatic and stressful. And every single one of them deserves a place. So I guess that's where I'm coming with this. It's like, oh my God, we've had a birth. Part of my journey was to help share birth stories. And now it's like the divorce stories, the death of the relationship. Like, what happens next? Because it's actually your rebirth. Yes, the rebirth of the mums in the Magic Divorce Club. I want to hear it. Please, if you have a story, make some time to write it out. Send it to me. We can talk about it if you want to share it or not. But if anything, write it and send it. We don't have to do anything with it, but I'm here and I want to hear your rebirth story. Okay. So, should you tell your story? I think the answer is yes. But always being mindful what the purpose of telling your story is in that moment. Is it because the person you're with loves a bit of drama and they want to be horrified? Or is it to help you process and to heal? Is it to highlight unacceptable behaviour so that more women can learn that they don't have to live through this? Is it to help you connect with other women who have been through the same? Or are you just reopening the wound and traumatizing yourself? And I would hope every single time that you would choose healing in order to teach and share, connecting, helping others. And as I say, if you were willing to send me your story and to let me share it, I think that could be a whole new thing for Magic Divorce Club, where we share these stories. And I would be honoured. Thank you so much for listening, and if you could subscribe and leave a review, that would be amazing. For all of your tips and tools, head over to magicdivorceclub.substack.com and you can find everything that you need there. You've got this, and I've got you.